You've slept easy, woken up well, and you're ready to face this good day. Remember, it is Thursday, and every Thursday we have Sokoni Prime coming your way. And this is all about matters economy, how the market is performing. And we shall be slicing and dicing this with our panelist here who will join us this morning. Already we have with us Engineer Patrick Obath, who is the Vice Chair of the KEPSA Foundation. And he is the chair, actually, of the KEPSA Foundation, and is going to, of course, expound on a raft of issues that we'll be discussing, looking from the alternative energy, looking at what is happening with the coffee sector, looking at what is happening with Omicron that now is here in the country. How is it bound to spook the market? We shall also be looking at that with him. We'll be joined also by the chair of the Nairobi Securities Exchange. This is Kiprono Kitoni, also Professor Colin Sodote, who is an advocate of the High Court and a Business Daily columnist, will be joining us much later in the course of the program, and as well, economist, that is Member of Parliament, Bunyasi Sakwa, will be here as well. So I look forward to that interesting discussion that we'll be having, and you can head over to our Twitter handle at KTN News KE, which is a Twitter handle, #MorningPrime. Right, let's get to drill deeper with the conversation here. We see what is fresh off the press this morning, and we'll begin with the bold paper, the Standard, just to prime you on what is happening this morning. This is what you're waking up to this morning on the front page of the Standard. CS has ordered to chiefs on Uhuru's choice is a splash today. It's a directive there. They're saying Matiang'i says when the president takes a position on any matter, all provincial administration officers must take cue without fail. Warns against contradicting directives. You have this story well fleshed out for you on page 7 of the Standard this morning. Also revealed inside deal, Babu struck with DJ Evolve. Commitment by MP Babu Owino. First, he'll clear 17 million shillings hospital bill. Second, he will buy a Noah and custom make it for DJ. That is a Noah, the van, the Toyota van. Also, he'll pay in advance 2-year rent, water, electricity, internet, and drugs. Thirdly, or fourthly, buy a house for Orinda and register it in his name and that of his parents. Pay nursing home cost until DJ Evolve recovers. Also set up a DJ Academy. You have this story continuing on page 8 of the Star. So this, as you know right now, this matter is being settled out of court, and it seems Member of Parliament Babu now is a free man, according to the goodies that he's doling out to DJ Evolve. He says if any party fails to comply, or this is what the court was saying, if any party fails to comply with any of the terms of this agreement, either party shall be at liberty to rescind the agreement or to sue for breach. As I mentioned, you have all the details fleshed out for you on page 8 of the Standard today. Right, Omicron cast dark shadow over Christmas. That is a story that is a bit depressing, and is well fleshed out for you on page 4 of the Standard this morning. Omicron cast dark shadow over Christmas. Be more careful, Kagwe warns as Omicron lands. Health Ministry will establish the extent of the spread of the Omicron variant. Risk posed by Omicron is its fast spread, and that is becoming the dominant variant globally. This story is well fleshed out here on page 4 of the Standard this morning. And also you have infographics there, very good infographics there. If we may just head there just to show you what we have as the infographics on page 4 of the Standard. 83% COVID-19 cases over the past week in Africa attributed to Omicron and the Delta variant. Also, we have 13 countries in Africa that have identified the Omicron variant. We have 10%. Only 20 countries in Africa had vaccinated at least 10% of the population as at December 15th, Kenya is at 12%, it says. Kenya is at 12%. And 5 days, time within which new COVID-19 cases are doubling in Africa, the shortest period this year. And 70% vaccine coverage seen as essential to control the pandemic. Africa is anticipated to reach this level in 2014. That is the story that you want to follow on page 4 of the Standard. We go back now to the main headline of the Standard, just to give you also what we have on top there as a teaser. The Kenya-Uganda egg wars. That is the story that you want to follow on page 12. Remember this particular tiff that has been brewing between Kenya and Uganda, and Uganda banning some of their products that can be imported in Kenya as well. This, we've seen also the Ministry of Trade coming also to give a statement that all is well, and we have a statement also from the East African Business Council. I'll be able to show you that much later in the course of a program, what the stand they've taken in regard to this particular tiff as well. That's much later in the course of the program. Still on the front page of the Standard, Ruto's plan to upstage Raila in Western. We have that as a teaser on the sidebar there. Ruto's plan to upstage Raila in Western. Deputy President piles pressure on former NASA chiefs Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula to join forces with UDA to face ODM leader Raila Odinga next year. This story continues on page 6 of the Standard. Mary Keitany has helped to record breaker. Follow that inspiring story on page 54 and 55 of the Standard this morning. Right, let's see what the Daily Nation is holding for us. KRA will now access cash in secret banks' accounts. That is what we have on the front page of the Daily Nation this morning. And we have noticed there, the flag is reading, Treasury to exchange information with 106 countries starting January next year. Nowhere to hide. Taxman goes for Kenyans who have stashed billions of shillings in foreign countries, including popular tax havens like Switzerland, Panama, Cayman Islands and British Virgin Islands, as government tightens the noose on tax evaders and beneficiaries of illicit wealth. This story continues on page 9 of the Daily Nation today. 28 million shillings. That is financial entities required to review all accounts with balances above 28 million shillings. Omicron is here. Web peaks at Christmas. That is a red flag. The country's positivity rate has in recent days been rising exponentially, with a Kenyan scientist's model predicting that the numbers will be higher during the Christmas period. The Center for Epidemiological Modeling and Analysis, the national body that works with the Health Ministry, has no update on future and past models. This story continues on page 10 of the Daily Nation. Also, Ruto and Raila fight for voters in diaspora. The story continues on page 6 of the Daily Nation. On top there, let's look at the teasers. Boon for flour exporters. Direct export of cut flowers to European markets from Eldoret Airport have resumed. And also 2022 race, Kiraito's U-turn on Raila support. You can follow his story on page 5. And reprieve for Kinoti. Court suspends arrest warrant. That story continues on page 4 of the Daily Nation. Let's see what we have on the front page of the Star. The person of the year is splashed on the front page of the Star this morning. This is a person of the year. Wambui Nyutu, who is 30, is a Star person of the year, according to that daily. Wambui Nyutu is the Star person of the year. Let me just read some details about her, just to tell you more about Wambui. An ambassador of social change, Nyutu is a lawyer and a philanthropist who is also the vice chairperson of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, the youngest person to ever serve as a commissioner since independence. Nyutu has sponsored a number of students, built and furnished schools and sunk boreholes for her role in education, which is transforming lives. The Star readers and editors name her the Star Person of the Year. That story you have on page 4 and 13 of the Star this morning. Wambui Nyutu, the Person of the Year, according to the Star. Also, on Bring It On today, It will not be possible to steal my votes. This is what Deputy President William Ruto is saying. It will not be possible to steal my votes. You can follow the story on page 2 of the Star this morning. Let's move on and see what we have on the front page of the Business Daily. And this is what is on the front page of the Business Daily. Remember, today is Sokoni Prime here on Morning Prime. We'll be discussing matters economy. And on the front page of the Business Daily, this is your splash. Half of mobile phone borrowers in default. Half of mobile phone borrowers in default is what is on the front page of the Business Daily this morning. Digital loans survey reveals 50.9% of respondents defaulted on phone loans amid COVID-19 economic hardships. That is what we have on the front page of the Business Daily there. Also, eyes on invisible disability is another story you want to follow. Eyes on invisible disability. This is an inspiring picture here. That is Safaricom customer experience executive Naomi Wafula and Vitiligo Society of Kenya chair, that is Wangoi Nje, posing with trophies they won during the annual Malaika Awards on Tuesday. The awards are held alongside the International Day of Persons with Disability observed on December the 3rd. This year's theme targets invisible disabilities such as learning differences, I should say, chronic pain or fatigue, sight or hearing impairments, diabetes, brain injuries, or cognitive dysfunctions. Also, Kagwe says no COVID-19 lockdown as cases surge. That is also the cyber story that you want to follow there on the front page of the Business Daily. Kenya, it says, will not impose restrictions such as lockdowns following the discovery of the new Omicron COVID variant among cases. 2 Kenyans travelers and a South African who entered the country last week. That story continues on page 2 of the Business Daily. Nairobi Kisumu train resumes with 600 shillings fare is another story, inspiring as we're heading, of course, to the festivities. Let's see what we have on the front page of the People Daily. And this is what you're waking up to on the front page of the People Daily. That particular alert on Omicron. Alert as Omicron detected in Kenya. That is a splash today on the front page of the Business Daily. Alerts on Omicron detected in Kenya. That is what you have on the front page of the Business, not the Business, but the People Daily this morning. Right, I just want to show you what we have on the front page of the New Times in Rwanda. We cross over to Rwanda. This is what we have on the front page of the New Times in Rwanda. And this normally comes handy every Thursday for you, where they have a pull-out magazine and just be able to show you what is inside there. And in the meantime, I just wanted also to flag you that the Forbes magazine has the Person of the Year as well. It seems all the magazines also, they're showcasing who they think should be the Person of the Year, from the editorials, from, of course, not the editorial, but the headlines of the Star to Forbes magazine. I'll be able to show you that much later. But here is the New Times. Mental health. How stigma is dangerous, traps people in cycle of illness. A national campaign was launched to prevent suicide among children and adolescents. This story continues on page 4 and 5 of the New Times in Rwanda. Also, Rwanda ranks 6th in visa openness in Africa. Rwanda ranks 6th in visa openness in Africa. Rwandans in U.S. mouth think tank to counter misinformation about motherland. That is another story that you want to follow on page 3 of the New Times in Rwanda. Yes, I've mentioned also we have the Forbes magazine, and the president of Ghana is the one who is been picked by the Forbes Africa magazine. Our African of the Year, Nana Akufo-Addo, president of Ghana, focused on a new paradigm of economic growth in Africa. Since he was elected in 2016, Ghana has grown exponentially. Right now, also, we know the oil refineries are there, they're thriving, and you can grab a copy of the latest magazine, that is the Forbes Africa, for you to read all the details about the President of Ghana and how he has brought change in that country. Right, let's buckle down and see what we can tickle our funny bones with editorial cartoons. Let's begin with the Standard. And I'll just head over there to show you what Gams has drawn today, briefly, on page 12. But flip over there. I don't have the soft copy, but I'll mount it momentarily. It is all about the Ford evolution, or a devolution if you like, it says. And you can see there what is happening since the beginning of Ford. It has been growing smaller and smaller and smaller. There was Ford, then there was Ford Asili, then there's Ford Kenya, and then we have new Ford Kenya, and now it has moved to, of course, DAP, Democratic Alliance Party of Kenya. That is what was unveiled recently at Bomas of Kenya. That is a split of the former, of course, Ford Kenya. Wafula Omanyenye being the chair, and we have also the Secretary General, Dr. Ishali Simiyu. That is what Gams has done for us inside the Standard today. You have it there. Let's see what the Daily Nation is holding for us, and this is what Victor has drawn for us as well. We'll flip over there on page 14 of the Daily Nation. Just give me time as I flip over there so that I can show you what we do have on page 14 of the Daily Nation. Also, as they try to mount it up for you, it seems to be eluding me as well. Page 14. Okay, keep on. Let me just, there we do. The Daily Nation. Thank you. Right, so I flip over to page 14 of the Daily Nation. Actually, it's page 16, not page 14. It's all about the Western Kenya. And the ramshackle you can see there, they are not united. Everyone is carrying any part of that particular car, from tires to the radiators to the exhaust, right, and to the chassis itself. You can see who are there. Musalia Mudavadi and Wetangula Atwoli is walking away with another tire, and so is Eugene Wamalwa, and we have also Bole Halwale walking away with the radiator there. This is just speaking to how the Western Kenya leaders are so divided when it comes to general election, right? And that is what Victor has done for us inside the Daily Nation today. Let's see what we have inside the Star. What Ozone has done for us inside the Star this morning. He'll try and also flip over there. And who will bail the cat? Who will bail the cat right now? And we know this so far has been overtaken by events, because we have a pronouncement from the courts, and now we have Kinoti as a free man. Court suspends arrest warrant, and that story also, you can read it inside the Star as well. Star has drawn this for us. I'll leave it for you to decipher. Yeah, this is Uhuru praying, especially in light of the Omicron variant. What should he be doing? All right, he's asking God, do I go on a lockdown or... Right, so I'll leave it for you to decipher that. God, advise me. Shall I let them die this festive season or use the padlock? Right, thank you. Those are your editorial pages today, the editorial cartoons, the editorial pages as well, and the headlines. You grab a copy of a paper that really, floats your boat. We want to continue apace with the conversation. Right now, I want to introduce to our partners who are already here in studio. I mentioned earlier that we have Engineer Patrick Obath, who is the chair of the KEPSA Foundation. Also, we have with us Kiprono Kitoni, who is the chair of the Nairobi Securities Exchange. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us up and early on this side of the trucks. Patrick, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes, thanks for joining us today on Sokoni Prime. Morning Prime is, of course, the edition of our show here on KTN News. And we want to continue the conversation always that we've been having as well. Bonyasi Sako also is joining us on the other studio, and we'll be also engaging with him as well, and also Collins Odote, Professor Collins Odote. But first of all, good to see you. I just want to get introductory remarks from you. It's been a while since we saw each other, Kipono, Kitoni, Patrick Obath. Yes, let's just begin with Patrick. Good to see you. You've been away as well. You just jetted in the country, I think, some few days ago.
No, actually, it was yesterday.
It was yesterday, yes.
And I came back here. No, I've been out. I was out attending the World Petroleum Congress,
okay,
which is the largest gathering of petroleum business people across the whole world. Happens every 2 years, and this time it was held in Houston, which is the oil capital of the world in Texas. And then it was also followed by the USA Africa Energy Forum, which is a meeting between various government ministries from Africa and the USA businessmen looking at opportunities for investment in Africa. So it was a busy 1 week, talking energy for the whole week.
Talking energy for the whole week.
Yes.
And I think also that really ties it all with a conversation later that we'll be talking about alternative energy as well here in the country.
Yeah.
But I wonder as well, within this context that we're operating in, with the torrid times we're living in with COVID-19, how was that highlighted in that particular conference?
I think COVID-19 has pushed people to be innovative. I think that's a key thing. Once we talk about the disease itself and the way people are working, the ways of working have actually changed. And that came through as an opportunity for the whole industry to think differently. And the one thing that is happening, people used to be able to move from different geographies in the world to go and do research and so forth. Yes. But now it's having to be done on collaborative platforms. And that has created a new opportunity of working differently for the industry. But also in terms of just the whole consumption of fuel. You see that it's been following the COVID lockdowns.
Yes.
If you look at the initial lockdown of COVID, those many years back, it feels like that, but it was only last year early, that it feels like several years back. At that time, the world shut down, and petroleum just stopped being used. Ships were not moving, airlines were not moving, industries were shut down, and you name it, that just dropped the consumption of fuel completely, and prices dropped at that point in time. And then since then, obviously with the opening up, the prices have begun to creep up, and with the different lockdowns in the world, there isn't one big event. So the prices are creeping back up again. And that means that investments in terms of exploration, in terms of research and so forth, are beginning to be released so that we can begin to move into climate correction activities. Yeah.
But we were wondering last week, because we saw in light, there was a debate here, where is the price of, petroleum products not really going down in light of what is happening also in the international market? The prices also, they're dipping. Yeah, you say they're creeping up, but they're creeping down. Also in light with the Omicron variant as well, that is spooking the market. And why we're not really readjusting in tandem with what is happening with the international markets.
I think international markets are spot prices. And what happens in this country, we buy forward.
We buy forward?
We buy forward 3 months.
Yes.
So if we buy forward, the impact of today's prices will be felt in 3 months' time. And that's the reality I think Kenyans have to live with. Because forward trading always, that's how it has been for years. And we buy forward. And if you're talking about international markets, the prices are going down. Yes, they're going down because obviously demand, the demand is going down, and therefore people want to get rid of stocks. But you're going to see the prices shoot up again. Because with this cycle, it happens as you close down, a lot of companies close their manufacturing facilities. And also the production is locked in by the producing countries. And then when prices recover, they wait. And when the prices begin to recover again, then the demand begins to recover, the prices follow. So it's following. It's following.
Okay, right. Kivoro Kitoni, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, Deval. Nice to see you as well.
Thank you. Yes. Good. For you as well, I think, I know you're a farmer. Yeah, besides the fact that you're also the chair of Nairobi Securities Exchange as well. And on that particular note, we've been seeing what is happening with the coffee market right now. Coffee market brokers, they're threatening to, take agricultural CS to the courts in light of the marketing licenses. We'll be able to discuss that as well. But there's some of the pain points that we are focusing on since we had also a task force to try and, bring sanity and sobriety in that particular sector, it seems things are not really ironed out very well. There's still some teeth fights that we can see ensuing in that particular sector. But briefly, you can just give you a general overview of what you think about Omicron, the oil as well. Thank you.
I haven't come from Texas or some exotic place like Patrick has, but I've just got back from the farm. I've been in Kitale. We had our second edition of the Silver Wine and Cheese AgriFest.
Yes.
We held an expo with 56 exhibitors, 10 corporate sponsors, and about 1,500 participants. And we had companies showcasing the agricultural products. We had the luxury goods sector, the wine and cheese manufacturers coming in and showcasing their products, the agro-industry players, and etc. So it was very interesting at the tail end of COVID to have an event of that nature. So I'm very pleased that we had a very successful event, and we got very good support from the Standard Group as well. So
yes.
It's something that I think we will do into the future to allow agricultural actors to come and showcase best practice.
Yes. If I wanted to just start off by saying that as, Patrick Obath was busy in that particular conference, energy conference, you were actually toasting, down in Kitale.
Yes. So
toasting wine.
Just come from the village and trying to dust myself. But, back to coffee politics, I think there is a lot that's happening. And I must say I haven't got, all the details on the exact reasons why the coffee brokers are taking the CS to court. But suffice it to say that there is certainly a very big need for reforms to take place in that sector. We need to unlock the potential of our primary produce, especially coffee and tea and others. We need to be able to add value. We need to break the cartels that for a long time have been holding this industry to hostage and not allowing the common farmer to make the benefit of the best prices that are available. I recall about 4 years ago, I was in Taipei, in Taiwan, and I was given a cup of espresso coffee from Kirinyaga, Gatomboyo Cooperative, that was selling in Taipei for $11 a cup. And when I came back, I went all the way down to Kirinyaga to see that cooperative and see the prices that they were fetching. And in that particular season, they hadn't been able to realize anything more than $4.70 per kilo. So I asked myself the question, where is the value being lost and why is this benefit not going to the farmer? So I think myself that I'd look at it from the bottom up and say that, farmers really need to be, looked at in this whole value chain of benefits. Yes.
Well, thank you. Also, we have Bunyasi Sakwa with us as well. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us. Maybe just to get also introductory remarks from you as well, in light of what we had yesterday, the pronouncement from the CS with the Omicron variant in the country as well. We discussed this a bit of it last week, that yes, this is not a matter of how, when, or where. It is a matter of if. Now we are actually in it. 3 cases have been reported here in the country. What is your take?
I think, thanks very much, Debal. First of all, I think it's important that we be calm. There are many waves perhaps that will come down the road, and as it stated, each one is more dangerous than the previous one. So I think that the Secretary Tai Kagwe should this time keep a calm tone and simply tell us what we can do as we live our lives. I think the world has proven that despite the difficulties and dangers posed by COVID, it's very important to be cautious on your routines, but keep our lives going, including the economy, including what we do around ourselves. I don't think the close down is going to be a popular thing in the future anywhere, and not in our country here, as it's not going to be in other countries. I think we should simply say, do this differently. It's even more dangerous than the previous one, but let it be calm, a calm tone.
Right, thank you. All right, Professor Collins Odote, good morning. Collins Odote, good morning. Right, okay, we shall cross over to Collins Odote much later in the course of the program. But for now, there's a very interesting headline also on the front page of the Daily Nation, and this is in regard to KRA accessing cash in secret banks' accounts. We're all aware about the Panama Papers and, of course, the Pandora expose there by investigative journalists that also sparked a lot of debate. We just have it on screen momentarily. And they're saying the Treasury is to exchange information with 106 countries starting January next year. There is nowhere to hide in light of what, of course, we've been saying here in the country that we have a lot of money salted away. Why can't they come and actually put that money in circulation here so that the economy may thrive? But taxman now is going for Kenyans who have stashed billions of shillings in foreign countries, including popular tax havens like Switzerland, Panama, Cayman Islands, and British Virgin Islands, as government tightens the noose on tax evaders and beneficiaries in illicit wealth. The story continues on page 9. This has been slow in coming, if I may come to you, Engineer Patrick Obath. We've had this debate for a long time, but I think this is the providential time now. KRA is acting, that these people, they have to, bring these monies back. Let's just begin from there. Why has it taken that glacial slowness to have this particular sort of directive?
I think the agency just has to get its act together in terms of how it gathers data and where it finds that information from. I'll give an example. I sat on a board of a company where there was fraud within the company in the UK, right? And we were able, within about 3 days, to find out all the transactions that the employees in the company who had defrauded the company had made across the world, within 3 days. And that was not even through the Revenue Authority, it was through an investigative agency, which is a government agency, that is allowed to do that. And they got all the transactions, including those in the havens that you're talking about, the Cayman Islands and so forth.
Yes.
So I think it's time that as a country, we had that capacity and do it much, much quicker. So that those who are stashing their money outside, instead of stashing it in the country, I don't mind, guys have made their money, and we're not going to question that. I'm not in that area. That is EACC. Mm-hmm. But if they've made their money, let them keep it in Kenya and let it work in the economy. Don't keep it sitting in Switzerland or other places like that, and not actually earning anything here. If you've earned it in Kenya, keep it in Kenya and let it work in Kenya. Mm-hmm. And I think the key thing with having access to all these jurisdictions, all these countries, is that they will now be able to very quickly find out information about movements of money, storage of money from Kenyans. And it's not as though it is any infringement of rights. Mm-hmm. If people have committed a crime and the money has gone out, then it is the right of the agencies in Kenya to be able to find out where that money has gone. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And I think also that we're torn in between now, because we will say the debate has been, it is not necessarily evil, so to speak, to stash away monies in these heavens as well, because we're debating on the tax evasion and the tax avoidance, right? Tax avoidance is touted to be, the smart way, of course, of avoiding tax. So where is KRA going to draw the demarcation line on this? Because you'll find maybe most of them, this is just tax avoidance. I don't know. I'm not in that remit. You can actually educate me. Kiprono.
I think, Debal, that for me it's very clear that we must obey, we must stick to the confines of the four walls of the law. And you see, these funds that they claim are in secret accounts, if there is evidence that these funds were acquired illegally, it still is within the realm of criminal law. And criminal law is underpinned by two very fundamental principles. One is that the burden of proof rests with the plaintiff. He who complains must prove it. And then two, that the evidence that you have must be absolute. I mean, the guilt must be proven absolutely beyond any reasonable doubt. So long as we meet those two thresholds, I'm quite happy with any measures that will be taken. But again, like Patrick, I also say that it is very important that if these funds sitting in these accounts are in our jurisdiction, I would rather that those funds are deployed in investing activities in our jurisdiction. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right, thank you. Let me just cross over to Sakwa. Honorable Sakwa, first of all, the President also promised that he's going to talk to us and enlighten us on how his name ended up, in that particular Pandora saga as well. But that has been forthcoming. The year is ending right now. He had, State of the Nation address where we thought he would have done that, but well, as I said, nothing really came out of it as far as that particular revelation is concerned. Your take, just generally on this revelation, and
yes.
the President's also commitment on it.
Yes, thanks, Debral. I guess the fact that the President hasn't said anything, I would say, as they say, it's not rocket science. Nobody was expecting that to come, for various reasons we can explore. But I think that in addition to what my colleagues there have said, A key thing is that for African countries particularly, capital flight of the type that we are talking about may come from people who have legitimately earned it and are seeking investments elsewhere and don't want to be known to have that kind of money, perhaps. That would be a tiny minority. I sit on committees, continental-wide committees on illicit financial flows. It turns out that, in fact, the data there suggests that most of that money comes from the state. In Africa, we're unlucky to have the unfortunate cartels of leaders, political leaders, elected and elected, civil servants and all the rest of them, being some of the people with the largest bank accounts, and therefore they have to hide the money. They don't hide it for tax purposes, they just hide it because it's stolen. It's taken out of state coffers. And I think that's very important. Then secondly, if there are genuine African entrepreneurs, I'm talking about Africa now, let's not worry about the rest of the world, who are making money and are looking for higher returns on their investment, there are many ways, and I think that the two people on your side there will tell us that there are many ways of investing legitimately on the London stock exchanges or the New York or maybe other investments outside legally, because the way our balance of payments was set up, the capital account was liberalized quite a while back. So you could actually invest your money legally elsewhere to improve your returns in Africa or elsewhere. There are very many other places that are safer places to invest. But the reason they're in those private and numbered accounts and named accounts is because there is usually a criminal trail behind it. This has happened for many years in other countries. We know of Moise Chombe and we know of the emperor up east and so on. And Kenyans are also in that league. And for me, for the president's name or family to have gone into it was very unfortunate. And we still are waiting for him to clarify what they are doing. Probably they can invest outside, but they should, let's see if the channels are legal. And lastly, we only talk about bank balances, balances in accounts. But there are monies stashed away in assets out there. Once the money is illegally acquired assets, it may take a while to get. I'm very glad that Engineer Bath is giving an example where it took only 3 days to access lots of accounts outside held by members of that company that he was talking about. It means it's possible. I'm not aware of the specific mechanics, how that worked, but I know that it must be done. And lastly, we can't go to IMF looking for funds to shore up our foreign exchange reserves. That's what we do with IMF. There's a bit of technical assistance in the management of the economy, but that's not the big part. We can't be running to them facing all kinds of conditions to be able to get $100 billion or something like that, when the money we have stashed out is much, much greater than that. Meaning if the money was circulating within the purview of our economic system, internally or externally, but officially, it would be part of our reserves. It would provide a flexibility. Countries like Israel, even just holding a bank account, a foreign bank account, irrespective of how much it is. I remember one of their prime ministers that has been caught in that kind of web, is illegal. And it's illegal because it fits their times. We can't say it's not legal in country X or Y. These requirements are supposed to fit our economic circumstances as of now. And we are not in a good place. So I really think it's immoral. It should be a shame for those of us that have the resources and are rushing them out of the country. Stolen or not stolen. But we talk about this.